So I think this is now like the third or fourth video, maybe the third video we've done on just how the Egyptians have lived their lives. And I know what you're thinking, you know, why are you not interested in all of the other ancient cultures? That's because the ones about like Genghis Khan are like really bloody and rapey and pillagey, and I don't and that's fine with me. I mean, I don't mind that, but that just seems kind of dark. And like the ones that aren't like rapey and pillagey are like boring. Like they just, so you know, that's, the Mongols are probably the only other culture I care about that much that are pretty old. I know a ton about the Romans already, so every time I watch these videos about them, I'm kind of just like, yeah, I know. So I don't know, maybe we'll find some interesting ones. But if you find one good Genghis Khan one, we'll do him, because I think all of the Genghises are super fucking interesting, and I'm obsessed with them. But besides that, it's just the Egyptian culture, because I don't know anything about the ancient Egyptians. So these are always fun. What was the fun one from last time was the crocodile dung contraceptive. It's for a woman, not for a man, and you know, they mix the dung with other stuff and they put it up their vag chute to not have babies. So that's what you may or may not know what I'm laughing about. We'll decide in post. Let's get into it, man. Oh, Jesus.
Get ready for 14 odd ways of life the ancient Egyptians practiced. We often think that we are completely different from ancient people. They had these weird traditions. They spoke unknown languages and so on. But archaeology shows that we are quite wrong. What kind of operations could the ancient Egyptians perform? What games did they play? In this video, Brightside will tell you about 14 unbelievable facts about the life of ancient Egyptians.
Counting down from number 14, the invented...
This might just be one of the most important inventions ever. Without a way to record information, there would be no way to store and pass on knowledge to the future generations. The Egyptians used pictograms, which simply depicted words. Later, they added characters that look a lot like modern alphabets, which helped them to write down some abstract ideas.
That doesn't look anything like my alphabet. Put question marks.
They invented tables. This might sound
really?
impressive, but before the Egyptians, there were no tables as far as we know.
What?
So they made this simple piece of furniture to keep the food off the ground, and also for gaming purposes. This is how board games started. Ooh, Egyptian Monopoly.
That's so interesting.
Number 12, they invented wigs.
Oh yeah, that's
because of
important.
really hot climate, most Egyptians, at least men, shave their heads.
No,
That's
women
why.
too, actually, and it's also because of lice. There was a ton of lice in the Egyptian world, so you'd have to keep your head shaved so you don't have bugs crawling all of you.
When you watch a movie about ancient Egypt, most men are bald. However, some people wanted to have some kind of hair on their heads, but still be able to feel comfortable. So when they felt like it, they used wigs. And when it was very hot, they simply took them off. And here comes the gross part. The richest and noblest people wore wigs made of actual human hair, whereas common folks had wigs made of sheep wool. Number 11. They extracted iron from meteorites.
What?
Archaeologists found metal beads in an ancient Egyptian tomb. In 1911, pretty small beads were found in the north of Egypt. But why were these beads so unique? The thing is, the Egyptians smelled iron only 2,000 years later. So how did they get metal beads? Chemical tests show that they were made from meteorites.
That is insane.
Another argument for this point of view is the hieroglyph that the Egyptians had, which means iron and can be translated as metal from the sky.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's pretty chilling.
Yeah.
Number 10.
That's pretty dope.
Toothpaste. There are several proofs that the Egyptians have been producing toothpaste since
That's
5000
the black
BC.
toothpaste, or no? Is that somewhere else?
They needed toothpaste not only for romantic dates. The Egyptians probably had very serious trouble with their teeth because they ate food with a lot of sand in it.
Oh,
and
that
of
is
course,
awful.
The sand destroyed their enamel.
So
they needed something to keep
terrible.
their teeth clean and healthy. So they invented one of the first versions of toothpaste. It consisted of ashes, burnt eggshells, and ox hoofs.
How the hell did you put that together?
In your mouth, right? This doesn't seem like a good start of a day. Anyway, archaeologists even managed to find some guides on how to mix these ingredients to make the right paste. Is there a wrong way to make this? Another fascinating dental discovery were toothpicks that were buried together with mummies. Probably the ancient Egyptians cared about their teeth so much that they even took some tools with them to the afterlife.
Well, maybe they just thought everybody ate food with sand in it, and they needed to get grains of sand out of their teeth. One of the things you just don't consider about how uncomfortable ancient life must have been. But yeah, the food must have been pretty darn dirty.
Number 9. They used breath mints. As you already know, the Egyptians cared about their mouths very much. In the ancient times, bad breath was as unpleasant as it is today.
Oh, that's
Even
good.
though their medicine was quite advanced, they didn't have any dentists who could help them with their bad teeth. Scientists examined mummies and found several worn-out teeth even in young people. So, to do something about the unpleasant smells from the mouth, they invented the first mints.
Wow.
They used myrrh and cinnamon. They boiled them with honey and made some kind of pellets. Yum.
I wonder how they figured out that that's what happened.
They used antibiotics in treatment.
Really?
Yes, the Egyptians kind of invented antibiotics way before the 20th
What did
century.
they use, though?
But it looks like they didn't know it.
Oh.
They used moldy flatbread to cure festering wounds. They fermented something that looked like porridge that had very high levels of tetracycline, which we know is an antibiotic. However, there is no indication that the Egyptians understood why this recipe worked.
I was about to say, because that a lot of cultures didn't even think germs existed for the longest time. So, like, obviously, I don't think that they would have known.
So, is it really a discovery when you don't know what you discovered?
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen in the comments.
I don't think so. I say
Number
nay.
7. They invented eye makeup.
Sure did.
You've probably seen some movies about ancient Egypt. Both men and women in Egypt wore makeup, and it was a symbol of nobility. The more makeup you had, the higher your social status was. Most of the time, they had black eye makeup, but they were also able to create green eye makeup using malachite. Number 6. They formed the world's first police. The world's first police were
They
formed
did
during the
a
Middle
lot.
Kingdom period,
Holy
years
Jesus.
2050 to 1800 BC. It included the most loyal warriors and foreign mercenaries. The Egyptian police didn't have guns or cool badges, but they were armed with staffs and accompanied by dogs and trained monkeys.
Yeah.
All right, fella, you're under arrest. Fido, put the cuffs on him.
Get that fucking monkey to beat his ass.
Yeah, it was exactly like that, too. Apart from the usual duties that police officers have today, the ancient Egyptian police had to protect tax collectors. Police officers forced the citizens to pay their taxes on time.
By beating them with
Had
sticks and
detectives
monkeys.
Investigated the most popular kind of robbery of those times, tomb robbery.
Yeah, that's true,
Number
yeah.
5, they invented the calendar. We use the calendar to remember about important things. Birthdays, appointments,
Or is it they invented a calendar? Is it the calendar? I think it's a
Egyptians could
calendar.
literally die without a way to tell when the Nile would flood. If they missed that day, all the harvest was at risk. So the Egyptians designed a system to be able to know which season it was. They had 3 seasons in the year: inundation, growing, and harvest. Each season consisted of 4 months, and each month had 30 days. If you do the math, you will see that the Egyptian year was just 5 days shy of our modern
that's pretty
year.
good.
5 days may not seem a lot, but it actually is.
It's a
Over
ton.
time, this difference will add up, and the seasons would shift so much that they would be opposite. That's why the Egyptians added 5 extra days between the harvest and inundation seasons. These days served as religious holidays so that people could rest before the start of the new year. Number 4. They were the first to produce beer.
Let's get them
You might
hops,
have heard that
baby.
the workers who built the pyramids were paid with 4 to 5 liters of beer a day. How
Wow.
could you possibly drink that much beer and get up in the next morning to work? I think we should try it. We're not sure what cure the Egyptians used for a hangover, but we can definitely conclude that brewing was at an excellent level. The Egyptians were one of the first to produce the drink. Number 3. They used door locks. Door locks were created in Egypt and China, probably because such devices were needed. The more neighbors you have, the more reasons to lock your door. The mechanisms of the lock were quite simple. There were special pins inside that didn't let
Oh
anyone
wow, they
open
have
the
like
door
keys
without the
and
key.
stuff.
When the owner inserted the key, it moved the pins, and the person could enter the house.
Dang.
So now, every time you lock the door and feel safe for your possessions, you know who you should be grateful to.
Wow, they have like actual keys and
Number
everything
two,
though. That's pretty
they
dope.
played bowling. In one ancient settlement near Cairo, archaeologists found a playroom going back to 3200 BC with carved lanes and balls of various sizes for fingers.
What?
A little bit different from the modern bowling we're used to. Players stood on both sides of the lane and didn't aim to strike down the pins. The point was to throw the ball so that it goes exactly through the hole in the middle. The competitors were trying to do the same, but from the opposite end. Hey, combine the bowling with the beer, and now you got a new Friday night tradition.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And number one, they treated eyes. Eye infection was a common disease among Egyptians. They used various and sometimes extraordinary
That's
methods
dope.
of treatment.
Ew.
They
That's gross.
used bactericidal paint and remedies made of human brains. Here's what
Oh
one of the
my
recipes looked
God.
like. Divide a human brain into two parts.
Oh.
Mix the first half with honey and apply on the eye in the evening.
What?
Dry the second half and apply in the morning. We don't know two things. From where they took the brains, hopefully they didn't murder
What?
anyone especially for that.
What?
And we have no idea if it helped.
Why?
So, which of the facts did you know before?
Wait, this was going so well until the end. Well, what? Wait a minute. One of the most advanced societies in the world. If you have an eye infection, we're harvesting brains. What the? Where did this come from? This was such a chill and relaxed video. That escalated so incredibly quickly, ChavezzSlovakia. Thanks for rolling through. I love these fact videos. This one was particularly entertaining to me. And watch your damn brains. I'll see you guys around. Good God Almighty. What?
Crocs, 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 Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. Wearing Crocs, boy. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. Wearing Crocs, boy. My Crocs are gold. My pops is old. My Crocs got soul. My Crocs are bold. I go to church wearing Crocs. I'm always turned wearing Crocs. My Crocs are great. Your Crocs are lame. With my Crocs, I can cross a lake. Crocs, 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 Crocs.